Welcome back, my friends, to Mystery on Mack, the warehouse we've been converting into our home for the past year. And today we're walking through our third reveal of some of the completed spaces in the warehouse, like our living room, and going over some of our design decisions that we made along the way. Mystery on Mack. This has been a warehouse that we've been obsessed with for probably a decade, and when we had the opportunity to purchase it, me and Kyle did not hesitate. We put in all the stops when it comes to designing and building this space out. When it comes to the actual design aesthetic, you should probably know by now, we own Woodward Throwbacks, and we design and build using reclaimed materials from the city. So you know there's gonna be a ton of salvage, a ton of texture, a lot of natural materials. But when we first walked through the warehouse, it was a hot mess. I don't know if you guys remember our first videos of the warehouse. It was completely full floor to ceiling with trash, boxes, just a lot of things that unfortunately weren't usable. And we filled up 12 dumpsters cleaning the space out. So originally when you walked into the warehouse, you actually entered into the kitchen, and behind the original kitchen was just another dark room full of stuff. And the walls in this back space were extremely flimsy, and that was one of Kyle's first tasks, was to remove all of the walls that were made in this building while I did the rest of the cleaning. And while we removed all of the original walls in the warehouse during demo, we did keep one wall, this wall behind us, because not only was it structural, it was cinder block. We found all of these amazing metal tin panels that came off of this building. It was in the back alley, and we turned it into a feature moment, which also duels as art because, I mean, the texture is sick. So as I mentioned, these were found in the back of our building, and they were really just added to like cover up the holes, the previous owner told me. I loved how the natural weather rusted and gave this so much patina, and that's why I thought that this would look so good as just like a feature moment. And then for our door, we got really lucky when we salvaged this really cool historic building downtown, and this was one of the original elevator doors, which I thought was really cool. So it's super industrial. It has the same patina as our metal panels, and I don't know, I think this whole moment just kind of came together. There's still things that we want to do, like add a metal trim that will also rust, just kind of match. But other than that, I like the way it is. All right, so let's talk about the furniture, which I'm super excited because obviously we made all the furniture. And then we bought some really cool vintage to complement it. So our living room is very open. We wanted to create very simple, but I guess like punchy moments. And our favorite piece is our credenza. Can you see it? Because it's clear, because it's also made out of bulletproof glass. So bulletproof glass is one of those materials that me and Kyle kind of low-key love to hate to work on, because bulletproof glass is so heavy, but it's such an interesting material. It's pretty much just like really thick acrylic. What I really love about this particular unit is all of the decor and our books and our candles. It appears that it's floating, which I think is really neat. I think especially as designers who love texture, this is kind of like our opportunity to kind of just like take it down a notch and to have a really simple moment and just highlight all the things that we put on it. So for the seating, we actually got really lucky. This was one of those kind of impulsive buying decisions. We were in Bay City, Michigan, which has some of the best antique stores. We got this at Retro Addicts. We walked into the store, met with the owner, he's super sick, and he was like, yeah, I got this new like white leather sofa. And I never thought that I was a white leather sofa girl until I saw this. It is very low, sometimes it hurts my knees, but it is very beautiful. I think it's completely perfect for the space. It also complements our rug. This size is 10 by 14, which is the largest rug I've ever purchased in my life. But I love brown, and I felt like it would be the perfect contrast between the white leather and just all the things that we have going on in this room. So this is our other second impulse purchase that we got when we went to Round Top Antique Festival down in Round Top, Texas. I don't know if you noticed, but this is a glove. It's literally a glove chair. It's called the Joe chair, but I'll get into that later. When me and Kyle first saw the sofa, we were like, this is weird, but also just so cool. I've never seen anything like it before. I mean, for us, we're just gravitated to interesting shapes and art, really functional art. It's super cozy. It's like, I mean, there's so many, you know what I mean? There's so many ways that you can lounge on this thing. So I would say, if I get to give you a pro tip when it comes to impulse buys, sometimes you gotta do it because you only live once. And then to anchor everything together in the living room is our coffee table, which is a Woodward Throwbacks build. You can purchase this on our website. It's called the Modern Block Coffee Table. We have it in a couple different stains. This is a natural, but what I love about this is it's made out of deconstructed oak church pews. It's really simple, it's really elegant, it's a little bit of texture, and it's perfect to showcase all your things. But yeah, again, I love the contrast with the dark rug and the sofa and this warm piece of wood furniture. So I want to talk about art. And when I say art can be multiple different things. As I mentioned, furniture can be art, but lighting can also be art. And for this particular space, I wanted just to have something really interesting for this really blank wall, which, I mean, when we get rid of the TV, we're gonna have projectors, so it'll fill in. But this, believe it or not, is made out of recycled glass. And that was the one thing that really drawn me to this particular sconce. It doesn't get any brighter, so it's really simple and dim, but at nighttime, this is when this light becomes the star of the room because it cascades this really beautiful orange glow, which is perfect for just some like late night hangs. And then so when it comes to art, traditional arts, I love to fill my space with art that is found at antique stores, vintage, Facebook Marketplace. I actually got this mirror from a girlfriend and I saw this at an antique store years ago and I did not buy it. It was like massive, so I should have bought it then. But when I found that she had a smaller scale version of it, I just thought it was so fun I had to have. And then of course, if you have friends that are artists, you should definitely support and get their work because this is made from my friend Zach. And unfortunately, he dropped this piece and was gonna throw it away. And I'm just like, don't you dare do that. I love it. I think it's really fun. And whenever he comes over, I'm just like, look, there's your piece. So still on the topic of art, my other piece or favorite piece of art, which is extremely large, is this Salvage marquee sign. So just to give you a little backstory, we are in our lounge, which is right across from the living room. As soon as I knew that we were gonna make a lounge, I knew that this piece had to be here. So we acquired this particular piece from a friend who did demolition in the city of Detroit back in the 80s. And he was contracted to demolish a theater. And this was one of the original signs. As you can see, it has a lot of great patina, but it also has this really iconic green circle. And he told us that this piece of artwork was done by Tyree Gooten, which is a local legend Detroit artist who owns the Heidelberg Project. And in case you don't know what the Heidelberg Project is, it is an outdoor art installation in a neighborhood on Detroit's east side. Tyree, the artist, transformed an abandoned neighborhood and filled it with found objects to highlight urban decay and renewal. Despite demolition attempts and arson, it remains a global symbol of art and activism. I was a little hesitant of mentioning that this was a Tyree piece because Tyree, if you're watching, clearly I have not yet talked to you to verify if this is one of your piece, but it is such an iconic marker, your circles. I am just so in love with it, and I am so blessed that our friend back in the 80s saved this particular piece because he thought it was just as fabulous back then as I feel it is now. I feel like art comes in so many different materials, mediums, and sizes, and you know, to the common person, this is just a metal rusty sign, but for me, this was something that deserved to be on our wall. When it comes to the furniture though, this is curated vintage that is actually available on our website. I'm kind of low-key thinking about taking it down because now that it's been in our space for a couple months now, I'm like, maybe we should just keep this forever. But these are industrial multi-drawers with a japanned finish. And japanned pretty much is a technique where they like blacken the metal and it has all of this like copper kind of patina. It's pretty wild. Google it, I'm probably explaining it wrong, but I'd love anything that's japanned. And then for seating, we have a combination of vintage as well as new, and this accent chair, which I love. This is actually on our website. It comes in black as well as this checkered. This is honestly Ginger's, our dog's favorite spot to hang out. As you can tell, the sun is like in the perfect position and I have to fight her to like hang out in this particular spot. I would say our lounge area is definitely a work in progress. It's going to evolve over time. I might add a rug, I might add a coffee table, but right now, I kind of love how it is and I'm excited to see how it changes as we use the space. So coming from the lounge, I want to talk about our staircase. So originally, the staircase was not oriented in this position. The staircase actually pretty much reached the front door. It was just like not cute. So we completely redesigned it by changing the orientation, adding a landing, and what really makes this staircase a vibe is the actual design. We built this ourselves out of wood framing, drywalled, and then we actually added this like curved edge. I was like kind of channeling my like, Grease kind of, trust me, I'll add some photos. But I wanted to make this really soft, and this was like the most affordable thing we could have done, and I think it looks great. And while our staircase design is very modern, very simplistic, of course we added to add the balance of simple, but also add a little bit of attitude. And we decided to make a marble front step. So we love marble, and we especially love Salvage marble, and this particular piece was actually just a remnant. It actually broke in a million different pieces the first time we were installing it. And I don't know if you can tell, but yeah, this bottom row is like a ton of pieces that Kyle just like jigsawed back together. But I love the texture. I just love how there's a juxtaposition between, like I said, this modern, clean design with the natural oak steps and then this really funky marble for the first step. So when you first walk into the warehouse, this is the front door. So you get this great view of our space. But we're actually going to eliminate this door and turn it into a window and completely relocate the front door to the center of the building across from the bar, which is so exciting. I can't wait for it to happen. It's happening this summer. But I want to talk about this space right now, which is our entry. So while our current foyer is going to completely change, we're really focused on just making it functional for us at this particular time. So we found this really awesome vintage coat hook. I don't even know where we got this thing, but it's so great to have because when the first couple months of living in the warehouse, we kind of was like throwing all our jackets in the corner. So now that we have this, it's improving our lives. But then our second favorite thing in this particular moment is the artwork that we started to add. So this was originally a window, like back in the day. We are still kind of flirting with the idea of either remaking a window or adding it to be glass block. But in the time being, we are working with a local artist, Martina Alexander. She's loaning us this art. Girl, I'm saving up to buy it because it's so beautiful. I've been obsessed with her work for years. And when I saw this at the gallery, I'm like, girlfriend, like, can we work something out? I love the color. I feel like, especially since the space is so white, so simple, I wanted her artwork to be the star of this moment. And then we also have some more Detroit art. This is Sheafy McFly. I went to school with him. I thought Sheafy was like the coolest dude. I still think he's the coolest dude. I have yet to frame these pieces, but I got these when he did a pop-up at our showroom. So yeah, like I said, I am just like a fan of collecting art from, you know, my friends, my family, local Detroit artists, found art. So yeah, stay tuned. There's gonna be a lot more. And yes, Jiffy, these will be framed very, very soon. So as I mentioned, again, our foyer is no longer gonna be a foyer because once we move our front door, I'm thinking I want this corner to be another lounge, a kind of reading nook, let's say. So my whole idea is I want to do some built-in millwork, maybe some open cubbies, bookcases, art. I'm still working it out. But one thing I do want to do is, can you imagine a little circle like card table here with like replacing this light, finding something beautiful and sculptural and coming down? Like, I don't know about you, but I do love a good card game. And I feel like this might just be like a really fun moment. So yeah, work in progress, but that's also the beauty of designing your own space and kind of just going with the flow, because this space is gonna evolve. I wanna say this is probably one of the most exciting spaces or one of the spaces I'm looking forward to besides our front door and our landscaping, and our second floor and our garage. I'm excited for all of it, but I think having this space more defined, I think it's gonna be really cool just to make the first floor a little bit more finished. So friends, if you have made it this far, thank you for watching our third reveal of pretty much the second half of the warehouse, our living quarters. I'm so excited to continue showing you what we're doing to this space, especially because the next reveal is our kitchen. And y'all know I worked my ass off designing that particular space. The kitchen's the heart of the home. It's my favorite space, and we're still working out a few things, but so far it's dreamy as hell. So yeah, stay tuned. Keep watching the channel, like and subscribe. And I'm also going to link all of the furniture, the Woodward Throwbacks furniture that you can purchase on our website in the description below. So yeah, thanks you guys, take it easy.